Hello everyone and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Matt, and in today's video I want to share with you some really exciting planty updates, as well as just show you some of my favorite plants right now. I have definitely been neglecting my plant collection in the previous couple of weeks just because I didn't really have time or motivation to take care of them. But for the most part, my plants are looking actually pretty dang good, and there are some that are just blowing my socks away, which goes to show you that plants are a lot more resilient than we give them credit for. And I just want to show you some plants that are really doing amazing and looking so cute with literal minimal effort. And we're gonna start off with probably the most exciting update ever. I'm so happy that this finally happened. You saw the thumbnail. You know what this is gonna be. My linearis. If you've been on my channel, you know how much I love this plant. I adore this plant. This is my favorite Hoya and probably one of my favorite plants in my collections. Period. This is the plant that I will be taking with me to my retirement home in like 50, 60 or how many ever years. This is the plant that I definitely just cherish and love the most. This plant never gives me any issues, gives me absolutely zero grief. It's super easy, doesn't mind if I forget to water it, never has any pest issues, grows like crazy even with like medium to low-ish lighting conditions, isn't fussy about humidity, just overall such a low maintenance girly. However, whenever I talked about this plant, I would mention one thing, and that is that this plant never bloomed for me. Well, guess what? It happened. It finally happened. Oh my God. Let me just adjust myself. Look at that. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Are you actually kidding me? I'm gagged. I am so happy. Like you guys don't even understand. You guys don't even understand how happy I am that this plant has finally bloomed for me, because I love this plant. I love Hoyas. I love Hoya blooms, but a lot of my Hoyas aren't really prolific bloomers, and I've had this plant for years. I've literally waited years. I waited 84 years for this thing to bloom, and I am just so, I don't even have the words to explain how excited I am about this bloom. And I know that to some people this might not be a big thing, because I feel like a lot of people manage to get their linearis to bloom, and you know, the bloom itself isn't anything special, it's just like a white bloom. But for me, this is just such a big accomplishment, because not only is this my favorite plant ever, but the timing of its bloom is literally perfect, because I feel like this plant felt that I was kind of feeling down, that I was kind of in a depressive episode, that I had been kind of going through a rough time, and she decided to bloom for me and make me literally the happiest boy alive. And I am just so grateful for this plant and for this hobby, because even after all of these years, even after I've grown so many plants, even after I've killed so many plants, there are still things like this that bring me such immense joy. However, I will say this took forever to open up. I saw the peduncle a couple of weeks ago, and this thing had plenty of peduncles. They would never form into an actual bloom. But this time I saw that the peduncle was starting to, you know, get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And day after day, it just kept sizing up. And I was like, oh my God, am I actually gonna get a bloom? However, I was scared, because at one point it seemed like it got into like its mature size, but it wasn't opening. And it wasn't opening for, I would say, maybe even 2 weeks. And I was religiously checking this thing every single day. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, I was like, is this thing open? Is it open? Finally, yesterday, I checked it and it was open, and I'm just, oh my God, I'm so happy. I can't even explain to y'all how happy this makes me. Now, It doesn't really have a smell, but it hasn't formed the little sugar jelly crystals yet. So maybe after some time it will form a smell. But I mean, come on, that is beautiful. That is so cute. And yeah, I know they're kind of basic. They're just like white little blooms, but I absolutely adore them. I love them. This is just so exciting for me, and I'm so happy because now I can finally say that the Hoya linearis has bloomed for me. And y'all know that I love this plant. I mean, she's huge, she's massive. I love the texture. I love the way that this thing drapes, and like the blooms are just like the cherry on top of an already perfect plant. Like, to me, this is the perfect plant, okay? This is my ride or die. This is my favorite plant in my whole collection, like without a doubt. It only has one bloom at the moment, and I do know that when these start blooming, they usually put up a couple of flowers at a time. And honestly, if this ever were to like be full of blooms, I would probably perish. I would probably catapult myself into outer space. I'm just so happy. I'm literally just so excited about this update. And I was just waiting and waiting and waiting because I really wanted to share it with you guys. And it was so hard because I wanted to post pictures. I wanted to let you all know what was happening with this plant because it was so exciting. But I didn't want to ruin the moment. So I'm happy that I can finally share this with you. I'm happy that my Hoya linearis finally bloomed. I'm just, oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Woo! So yes, the first plant on my list today is the Hoya linearis. The next plant I did tease a little bit in my Vitcho shelf update video, and that is the Alocasia scalprum. And I mean, my God, this plant, she is looking so delicious, so sexy, so beautiful. I am in love with this plant. I think the scalprum is one of the coolest alocasias out there. I mean, the leaf shape, the color, the texture, it is just so amazing. It is giving me such like villainous, dark, spooky, mysterious vibes. Perfect for spooky season, but in the years that I've had this plant, I actually struggled quite a bit with it. This thing had issues with spider bites. I had root rot on this plant a couple of times, and only this year has this thing really just taken over and started looking so gorgeous. And obviously I will say that that is mostly due to the way that I'm growing it, and I am growing this plant in semi-hydro. I swear by semi-hydro and alocasias for the most part. Now the fun thing is that I did have this in semi-hydro once, and then it kind of rotted, and then I restarted it in semi-hydro, and then the second time it just kind of like did so amazing. I don't know what was up with that, but now it is looking so stunning. It is so beautiful. It's so severe, and I absolutely love this plant. Obviously, it is an alocasia, so it is very susceptible to spider mites, but it didn't have any thrips issues, because if you're new here or if you weren't aware, I had quite a bit of a thrips infestation in my collection. There are still like a couple of thrips here and there, but for the most part, I would say like things are pretty under control. But like a lot of my other alocasias, my dragon scales, my silver dragon, my watsoniana, my frydek, all of those also had issues with thrips, but the scalprum, I never found any thrips on it. Only spider mites, and honestly, right now, like she doesn't even have spider mites. So for me, an alocasia that doesn't have spider mites at any given time is already a win. And an alocasia that looks just this gorgeous, it's beautiful, and it's bringing me so much joy. I feel like this plant is just such a statement plant, and it's such a cool plant. Perfect for this time of year, which is fall. I love the dark foliage. I don't have a lot of this type of plant, like this really dark, dramatic, almost black foliage. So plants like this just stand out so much in my collection. And I love alocasias. I feel like alocasias are so fun. They're so cool to grow, but obviously they are a bit of a difficult diva. And I just hope that this trajectory continues. I just hope that she continues to look this good. Now her roots, oh wow, she has a lot of roots. I haven't checked those roots in quite some time, but you can see she is definitely rooted. I don't think I'm gonna be uppotting this plant anytime soon, because something that I have noticed or learned when it comes to alocasias is that they really don't like being repotted. Even when it's a simple uppot or repot, I feel like they just take a hit. They take a pretty big hit, and I really don't want anything to happen to this gorgeous beauty. When it comes to temperature and humidity, it's just like general room environments. And when it comes to light, this is grown under a Barina grow light, and that is literally the only light source it gets, like for 12 hours a day. So obviously, it is very much enjoying the Barina grow light. However, a hot tip when it comes to this plant, and I would say alocasias in general, because of the spider mites, definitely if you can give this thing like weekly or bi-weekly showers, or like just wipe down the leaves, trust me, it will make a big difference and it will make the plant a lot happier. But this is one that I finally feel like I figured out, and I am so happy to have this plant in my collection, the Alocasia scalprum. The next plant is super big, and I've definitely featured this plant in numerous favorites videos and updates videos, and I feel like I often talk about this plant, but honestly, I feel like she deserves to be talked about because she is massive. This is my Inferium Magnificum Luxuriance hybrid, and she is working on a brand new leaf that is just now expanding. Oh my God, I love the new leaves on these plants. Like, they're so gorgeous, they're so glossy. They just look divine. They look so delicious and juicy. And I mean, do I even have to say why I love this plant? It is a statement plant. It is a huge plant. It is a big girl, and I love her. And this is another plant that did have a couple of thrips issues. But honestly, even with like a pretty, I would say, not severe, but like mediocre thrips infestation, you can barely see any damage on this plant. Like, this plant barely blinked when the thrips were attacking it. She still grew, she's still pushing out leaf after leaf after leaf, and just looking so gorgeous. And one of my favorite features about this Inferium is that she does actually keep onto her older leaves. Like, I believe, what's the oldest leaf on here? I think the oldest leaf on here is this one over here. And it still looks pretty dang pristine. Like, there is no yellow edges. The tip hasn't dried out. There is a little hole over here, but I feel like that was already there when it was emerging. But overall, this is an Inferium that is pretty easy to care, pretty easy to grow. And I find that it doesn't rip when it's emerging. It doesn't really show a lot of damage. It is obviously sensitive, as with any Inferiums. When these new leaves are coming out and emerging, they are extremely sensitive. But I will say, on the whole, like, this is one of those Inferiums that I don't need to worry about. You know, with some of my more finicky Inferiums, I am always like scared. Oh, is the leaf gonna rip? Is it gonna look damaged? Is it gonna look dinked? You know? But with this one, I feel like that worry just doesn't exist. It just grows beautifully no matter what. Now, I will say that this plant does take up quite a bit of space, as you can see, especially with these huge leaves. And this plant does live in front of that tiny little window over there, and that is actually a west-facing window. So during the summer, this plant was receiving full sun in the afternoon. However, now that we are obviously entering into fall and winter, that window doesn't get any sun, basically. So the leaves are shifting a little bit and kind of trying to find their new way and find some more light. But I don't know, I just love this plant. It's such a statement in my collection. I love the way it looks. I love the texture. I love the color. It's just overall such a beautiful plant. It's an easy grower. Something that I do take into consideration when it comes to this plant is definitely keeping up with watering, especially when there is a new emerging leaf. I make sure that this thing doesn't dry out pretty much ever. This is a very thirsty plant, like super thirsty. and it definitely could use a repot because it is very, very root bound. You can see the root situation in the pot. I mean, it is crazy. This is wild. Like these roots, I mean, they look so healthy and so nice. These udon noodles, and it does need a repot, but it's already in a pretty big pot. So I just don't know what I'm gonna put it in. So I'm keeping it in this. I'm probably gonna keep it in this pot throughout the winter, because obviously during the winter time it will definitely slow down in growth, as will probably a lot of my plants. I'm just happy to have this plant. This plant is a constant grower, a constant shower, and that's why I love showcasing it on my channel. And if you are perhaps afraid of anthuriums, I definitely suggest you give this one a try. I feel like this is one of the easiest but like most rewarding anthuriums out there. The Anthurium magnificum X luxurians, or luxurians magnificum. I'm not sure like who's the father and who's the mother, but it doesn't really matter, honestly. It's getting a little bit dark outside. I feel like it's gonna rain. Oh, hopefully the footage on the camera is looking good. Anyway, I have yet another super exciting update. When I saw this, y'all, I screamed, I screamed. I was so happy because my Monstera Burly Marx's Flame got its first little lobster claw. Oh my God, look at it. Look at it. It is so cute. I'm so happy. This is another one of those updates that just made my day, that I was so excited to share with all of you, because this is a big thing. Okay, this is a big thing. I feel like the Monstera Burly Marx's Flame was so expensive, so ridiculously unavailable to like us normal regular folks for years. And now that it's finally in tissue-culture, now that you can get these at like a super reasonable price, I am so happy that a lot more of us can just grow this plant and enjoy this plant, because it is really such a cool and unique plant. And obviously, this plant is known for its fenestrations and for its little lobster claws. And I got this as a little baby plant. I feel like maybe this leaf over here was one of the original leaves. So all of this grew in my care. I feel like it got its first fenestration like rather soon, honestly. So I'm happy, because I know a lot of people are growing these plants and like they make it all the way like up the moss pole and they still get no fenestrations. This to me is just another one of those things that is such a huge accomplishment and achievement, and I'm just so excited for the future of this plant. And I just hope that one day I will have like a big, beautiful, like just massive Burly Marx's Flame with like a shit ton of fenestrations. That will make me so happy. And also, on top of that, this is another one of those plants that is super easy. Like, I mean, it's a Monstera. Monsteras on the whole are pretty easy, but this one has really thick leaves. Like, these are almost cardboard. Like, seriously, these are thick. These are thick boys. And I feel like that just makes it so resilient. It doesn't mind if it dries out. But I will say one thing that I do provide for this plant is a lot of good light. This gets some direct east-facing light every single day. Well, of course, when there is sun outside. But yeah, it does get some direct sun. And I feel like that's the key for getting this plant to fenestrate and size up. I feel like these definitely require a lot of light. But on the whole, it's literally super easy. And another one that surprisingly didn't have any thrips issue. I did find like 1 or 2 thrips on it, but literally no damage. So I can only recommend the Burly Marx's Flame. Like if you maybe thought of buying one, but are perhaps afraid or like don't know how it's gonna grow for you, trust me, it's super easy, it's super low maintenance, they are super affordable nowadays. You have the means, and if you want this plant, I definitely say get it. Get it and enjoy the fenestrations. I certainly will. I mean, this is so cool. I just love the way that it looks and how deep the fenestration is. It's to me, this is perfection. Monstera Burly Marx's Flame. And then last but certainly not least, I just want to show a plant that is honestly kind of surprising me because I have struggled with this plant, oh my god, literally ever since I got it. I had this plant for a couple of years now and it is kind of a pest nightmare. And that is the philodendron mame or silver cloud, or as I lovingly referred to it, the silver pain in my ass. Honestly, this plant was a nightmare to grow. I don't know why, but it just never grew nicely and it is an absolute pest magnet. Now, that hasn't changed. Unfortunately, it's still a pest magnet. This thing constantly has spider mites, constantly has thrips. I just kind of gave up on trying to have this plant be pest-free. However, despite all of the pest issues, this plant looks pretty dang good, honestly. Like, I feel like it looks so good. It is finally growing well. It's sizing up. And when you look at it up close, you can definitely see some damage from the pests. But like, when you look at it from afar, it looks amazing. Yeah, when I look at this plant up close, it doesn't look great up close, but from a distance, it looks pretty damn sweet. And I'm just really liking this plant. This plant lives downstairs in my north-facing window, and I really like it because my bedroom that this plant lives in is actually facing the street. So whenever I walk like in front of my house, I can like see this plant and some other plants through my window. And I don't know, it just brings me joy. It's just like a little wall of greenery. It's a philodendron, so obviously it's a bit of a difficult one. And me and philodendrons definitely don't get along all of the time, but it is one that I do cherish and love, and it is one that I'm happy is doing really, really well. And again, my secret formula, my secret sauce, if you will, for this plant is semi-hydro. Ever since transitioning this plant into semi-hydro, it has done amazing. So if you're struggling with this plant, try semi-hydro, you won't regret it. I'm growing this in pon. Whenever I say semi-hydro, by the way, I mean pon, specifically lechuza pon. I don't grow any of my plants in leca. I would like to, but I don't know, for some reason leca scares me a little bit. Pon is my preferred semi-hydro substrate, but obviously any type of semi-hydro substrate will work. And I feel like this plant is definitely super, super happy despite all of the pest issues. Philodendron mame. And that's it. Those are some of the plants that are really, really bringing me a lot of joy, that I'm really excited about. I mean, I mostly wanted to talk about the Hoya linearis, if I'm being completely honest, because that one just blows me away. That is my favorite plant, and that is just one of those plants that makes me love this hobby even more. And even when I'm down, even when I want to like get rid of all of my plants, even when I'm feeling overwhelmed, plants like the linearis, like the burly Marxist flame, like the Magnificum Lux hybrid bring me so much joy, so much happiness that in the end, all of the struggling and all of the pain, let's say it, is worth it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what was your favorite update from this video. Let me know if there are any exciting updates in your collection. I would love to chat with you. As always, thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and turn on the notifications so you're notified about every new video. I hope you have a super amazing, fabulous day, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!